You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV with Chris and Chumps. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Pinterest. All you need for everything Leicester City FC. It's Leicester Till I Die TV.
Please subscribe now on YouTube.
Broadcasting live worldwide.
And now, here's your host.
Right, Chris.
Good evening, all right. How the devil are we? Well, if you're a bit like me, not in the happiest of moods. Leicester travelled to Hull tonight. Well, hopefully they've travelled and they've got there in one piece. We might have to get used to those sort of journeys of the way this transfer window is going. Who is in charge of Leicester's PR at the moment? Because to be honest with you, I think they've actually employed Boris's PR team because it's just ridiculous. It is just ridiculous. We are. We've never been able to shop at Harrods, let's be honest with you, but we were shopping at Waitrose a little bit and nipping into Sainsbury's every now and again. But if this transfer window continues, we're going to be shopping at Aldi and Lidl because that's all that will be left, because all the other clubs will have gone to all the other better supermarkets and bought all the better goods, and we'll be left with the scraps. You know, when you're like in the queue for the fish and chips and you get to the end and there's that one piece that you've seen that they've not taken out that's the smallest, that's what we will get left with. Absolutely sweet FA. This is Leicester Till I Die TV with the Backpage News Show. Thank you very much. If you are watching on YouTube, if you are, please give us a subscribe and smash those likes. It helps with YouTube's algorithms and helps the channel as well. And if you're listening to this on catch up on your favorite podcast platform, again, thank you for lending me your ears. And all the other thing I ask you to do is, if you don't mind, if you need any of their items, please support the companies that are supporting this channel.
Leicester lead again. The goals are flowing here now.
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open. For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise, visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website.
Indeed. Do support them. All the details are in the YouTube information below the video, including discount voucher codes for where it applies. I was speaking to, and I'm getting annoyed now, as you may be able to tell, but I was speaking to Elton Wellesby yesterday. For those of you of a certain age, you will remember him as the ITV sports and football anchor. He's done a few World Cups and Euros in his time. I suppose you could say it was almost like the, Jeff Stelling of his day. I don't know, but he's a huge Everton fan. And they've only made one. They've only made one signing. So, they're not exactly jumping through hoops ahead of us. But he actually turned around and said, you know what? We'd love to be a club like Leicester, managed the way you are. And I'm like, seriously? At the moment, I know you have only made one signing, and I know it is a free signing, but everybody that we're being linked with, we're not getting. We couldn't. We wanted Tarkowski for 2 years running in the windows. We didn't get him because we wouldn't pay 30 million for him. We went and paid 15 million for a statue, and look where we are. And you know what? When we came free, of course, by then he decided he wanted to stay in the Northwest. And good luck to him. Good luck to him. He would have been perfect. Maybe we couldn't afford the 30. I don't know. But just who is making these decisions? Who is making these decisions? Spencer, good evening. How the hell are you? Welcome along. And also to Scott as well. You're most welcome, sir. The real question, he says, will be, does our great owner Top put up with Brendan for the full season, as I don't see it happening? Who are we going to get if he goes, though? Well, is it Brendan's fault? No. Well, you could argue that we have ended up with, some bad signings, but then we had ended up with some bad signings when Claudio was here, and that was when we had the amazing Steve Walsh. Just ask Everton if you think how amazing he was. Yes, as part of the team he was, but that on his own they were not impressed with him at all. So is it fair to say this is Brendan's, he's drinking at the last chance saloon? You can't send, it's like sending a guy into a pub and saying, go and scrounge a beer. You're not having any money to buy a beer. I'm sorry. You've used your spending money up this week. What are the kids, kids, do you want some sweets? Well, go to the local corner shop and stick a few in your pocket and sneak out. They won't mind, but you can't have any money because you've had your pocket money. Not that we encourage shoplifting. Of course, we do not under any circumstances. I'm just using that as an example. So I don't think it is Brendan's fault. Terence, good evening. How are you? Nice to see you. And Christine as well. Welcome along, Christine. And James, welcome along as well. Thank you for popping in. It's not Brendan's fault because but money there. So what happens? Right? Let's have a look at this. So we know quite a way that Lee Congleton is going to go to Atlanta and be their head of recruitment. We know that. We've known that for a while. I can remember reading that earlier on in the year. So what do? We go and get somebody else in. Of course we do. That would be what the clever Cubs would do, wouldn't it? We go to Southampton, where I think Lee Congleton was. I don't think we got him from Southampton, but he was there at one point. And we went and got the Martin Glover. But they said, if you want him, you can have him, but you're not going to get him until the end of the transfer window. What? And we said yes. Which idiot at the club agreed to that? So we're going to go through the whole transfer window, which is probably one of our most important transfer windows in years. This is the chance we've got to get it right. We haven't got Europe. So this should be the time, like for Arsenal, they said it, like we won the Premier League. We haven't got the distraction of Europe, so let's get players in, and if necessary, let's get players out. But we've agreed that we're not going to take the Southampton guy until the end of the transfer window. What does Southampton do? Stick him on gardening leave. Fair enough. Don't blame them. They then go and get their choice from Manchester City, who comes straight away. So Southampton have now got a head of recruitment in place that's working, and they've now got an old head of recruitment on gardening leave that can't come to us because some idiot at the club said, yeah, we'll do without him. So don't have a go at Brendan and saying, like, he's picked this bad player, he's picked that bad player. Yes, he's part of a team that picks it. It's not just him, but Jesus, it's like sending a one-legged man out into an arse-kicking competition. So then what happens? And a few of you have said here, Andrew, good evening. I don't think our owners have fully recovered from the impact of COVID. No, they haven't, but bear with me. Spencer, we still have to, we would still have to sell before we can buy it. Yeah. And good evening. Not a problem, sir. Not a problem. I wasn't sure whether you would still be at work, which I guessed you were. So we've got this one-legged man going into an arse-kicking competition with his hands tied behind his back. That is Brendan in the transfer market at the moment. I was just saying, and we've some idiot at the club agreed to get Martin Glover from Southampton, but agreed that we wouldn't have him until the end of the transfer window. That is great business, isn't it? That is really fantastic business. So what then happens? Now, remember here that Leicester, are borrowing Boris Johnson's PR team. That's the position I think Leicester City are in at the moment. We are borrowing Boris Johnson's PR team because we are making a shit out of a snowstorm or whatever they say. Because we then go on. The manager goes out and says, we've got to sell before we can buy, or worse to that effect. That's basically what he was saying. Now, that's fine. I've been saying this for a long time. The company, King Power, they've been hit by COVID because they're in the travel industry, and we know how badly that was hit with COVID. But to come out and sit there in front of the cameras, in front of the press, and say we've got to sell, well, we might as well just give notice to the rest of the clubs around the world. Hey, come to us and you can have somebody cheap because we're really, really desperate for the money. Does that work? No. So let's have a look, because on top of all this, and I'm really, really fed up with talking about this now, but it's not going to stop me. Tielemans can't decide what the hell he wants to do. Apparently he's in talks this week with Brendan Rodgers. Yuri, the last two seasons before the last one, you were 9 out of 10. In fact, when you scored that goal in the FA Cup final, I'd have had your babies. Really would. But last season, because no fault of your own, you had a 4 out of 10. You were being made to play out of your comfort zone, not in your normal position, and you did it, which was very, very good. But at the end of that, you have not got the selling power, you've not got the pulling power that you had the previous year when you just won us the FA Cup. So all these Champions League teams that you thought were going to be knocking on the door to get you ain't there. If Arsenal really wanted you, Arsenal could probably get you for 30 million, which is 10 million less than we paid for you. So it's a bloody bargain. And they're not even putting the check on the table. They're going for other people. What does that tell you, Yuri? Maybe you're not as good as you think you are. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd love you to stay. I would love you to stay to bits. But just sign that bloody contract, because if you're going to stay, stay. But don't drop us in it by going and not signing the contract and then being available on a free, because you're just doing the dirty on the club, and your legacy on this to this club will not be what you want it to be, and I will certainly not respect you anymore. Then you've got and then he's also linked obviously with other teams as well. Then you've got Maddison, who now is being linked with Tottenham. Tottenham, I mean, they've got a manager there that's gone in, and I don't know what the setup is behind the scene. We do know, obviously, you've got the old chief executive, whatever there, Daniel Levy, whatever his title is, chief shit stirrer, chief cocker-upper, whatever you want to call him. But Conte's gone in very well halfway through the season. He said no for whatever reason right at the start, and they, didn't get him. And they got Nuno, which was something like their 37th choice or something like that. They then sacked him and they went back and he came in. Now, he was in the position that suddenly you need me more than I need you. And he actually is able to stand up and say, this is what I want or I'm off. And he's getting what he wants. And this is the best Tottenham side with the best Tottenham manager for years. Do not be surprised if they don't finish second or third in the Premier League this season. But again, we need these players. And as Scott's just said there, can't see Maddison leaving summer, to be honest, Chris. Stranger things have happened. If we get some money for him, we need the money. You know, Brendan's come out and said to everybody, "Hey, we need to sell. Come and get our players. Fire sale on at Filbert Way." For God's sake. Not you, sorry, Scott, not you. That's the club. I don't think you will. I think he's settling down with his new baby, you know, mature and what have you. So I don't think he will. Terry, normally I watch all the preseason matches, but due to no new players, I have no appetite in watching a training match by the guys I've seen week in, week out. To be honest with you, mate, I watched the OH Labour match. Yes, it was 3-3. It's the most boring 3-3 I have seen in my life. I learned nothing watching it other than the fact that we're still shit at defending. And I am not doing a watch-along tonight for the Hull Leicester match. That is what I think. I am actually doing England's women, because England's women are tenfold more interesting and entertaining to watch than Leicester men's at the moment. And like I say, but please, guys, you're talking about Brendan. Do not kill Brendan. You know, do not throw the baby out with the bathwater, because, like I say, if we had Jose, if we had Pep, can you imagine Pep with no money? How would he manage? You know, how would Arteta manage if he can't buy these big expensive players we've seen for the last 2 seasons? Now, I don't think Maddison's going. Not this season, anyway. Who knows? Eventually, in fairness, he might do. We've got to accept that we are whatever we think we are. Yeah, we've won the Premier League once. We've won the FA Cup. We've won the Community Shield, all within the last 10 years. We are still no Man United. We are still no Liverpool, because we haven't got the pull of their names. And we're certainly no Manchester City, because as rich as our owners are, they're not as rich as those. So we have to accept where we sit in the great pecking order of things. Tielemans, just get off your backside, get your thumb out your arse and decide what you are doing to help the club out. So we've been told, you know, he's come out and the PR guys have said, yeah, you go out and say this. You go out and tell everybody we've got no money. You know, you go out and tell everybody that we need to sell first to buy. Now, there's breaking news coming up on Sky. Is this? No, see, I got excited then. Breaking news, I thought it was Leicester. Is it F? I mean, it never would be, would it? You know, 43 days to go. 20 days till we kick off. Soumare, now I was prepared to maybe give him the benefit of the doubt on the Snog Marry Avoid show a few weeks ago with Craig. I think maybe loan him out, but you know, he was asked to do something. He was asked to sort of try a different thing, which apparently he didn't. So he fell out with Brendan. Very expensive player to have on the bench. We know he's a good footballer, but there's no point buying a footballer and then, you know, buying a footballer because they are A and then trying to make them play like B. Monaco have come in for him. We've turned the offer down. We've turned the offer down. Now, if they came in for a loan and we want to sell, Jesus, these days you get 5, 6, 7 million pounds just for one season's loan. Imagine what we could then do in the loan market. We're allowed 2 loan players. We haven't got any because we've sent the one decent player that we bought in last season, which, well, one decent player, that's not fair on Daka. But we bought in a Lookman on loan. We've let him go because we can't afford him. You know, I know what you're saying. You know, well, we need a right winger. It's not his preferred position. At least he could. It's the best thing we've had there since, dare I say the name, Riyad Mahrez. And in fairness as well, he played well. Love Mark Albrighton, but he cannot be playing all the games that he has been. He's getting on a little bit. So, you know, Soumare, let him go. If it's on loan, say, yeah, you can have him on loan for a season. Let's get the 5, 6, 7 million, whatever we're going to get for him for a season's long loan. And let's go and maybe get somebody on loan that we can afford to pay that money for. And I've never run a business. I've never run a football club, but to me, it just seems pretty obvious. But like I say, Yeah, it is, James. I said this the other day, 110%. This is becoming Sancho to Man United 2. And we're living it. We're living it. Terence, well, if no new players, we have a poor start, Rodgers might say stuff it and make himself available for offers. We are on about getting rid of Rodgers, but yeah, who knows? He may decide, well, you're not supporting me now, and now you're having a go at me because I'm not winning, and I'm not winning because you didn't support me. All these other clubs have moved on. And yes, I could say that, well, towards the end of last season, all the players had come back and we were suddenly beating teams 4 and 5 goals past them, with sort of 4 and 5 goals past them. And yeah, you could turn and say, well, it's only Watford or not, whatever. But these were teams that we were struggling to beat earlier in the season. So the argument would then be, well, yeah, if we get all the players back, then we're back to a decent team. But other teams have moved on and we're treading water. So that team that we've now got back, that got us to 5th for a couple of seasons, won us an FA Cup, our opposition have caught us up and overtaken us on both sides. So, we can't stand still. Scott says, a question for you. Would you prefer to see these players that we are supposedly looking at let go, keep them out of the squad, hoping to sell in January, replace with youngsters possibly? No. I think I saw against OH Leuven, we took 3 trialists over. Not good enough. Not good enough. None of them were the standard because probably because in fairness they haven't had any loan spells, but they're not up there with they're not a Kieran Dewsbury Hall, they're not a Ben Chilwell when he broke through, not a Luke Thomas, So no, the players we've got there are not good enough. The ones that we thought were good enough last season, we've sold. There was the right back, Deontay Campbell. I thought he did all right when he came in. Sold. And we've just let a player go apparently on free that went to Rangers, and they've just sold it for 20 million to somebody. This squad of players will still be fighting for top 7. Now, fighting for it is one thing. Custer fought at the Battle of the Little Bighorn, didn't he? But he didn't get him anywhere. Could we not cancel contracts to make room for players? We can't just cancel the contracts. We'd have to pay them off. So it's a case of, yes, we'd get them off the wage bill, but we'd probably still, depending on what we've paid, and we've paid some average players very high wages. I'm actually going to do a show. I've got a show coming up next week with Jordan Blackwell from the Leicester Mercury. He's going to do a question and answer session. So get your questions and answers ready for him. He's coming on and doing a show with me, which I'm really looking forward to. That should be good. He hopefully might have some answers. And I'm also going to do a show on supposed wages. We never know exactly, of course, do we? But yeah, like you say, Spencer, yeah, we'd have to pay them off. You can't just say rip it up unless they're happy to. But I dare say on what those sort of players are on money-wise, I wouldn't. I'd say, no, carry on paying me or pay me off. So, and we can't afford to do that. So, Soumare, come on, Leicester. If we've had an offer, take it. We cannot now say, well, we want 5 million more. We're not in that sort of position. I mean, it's Monaco that have come in for him. It's going to be a French club probably where he's going to do better. And we shouldn't mess about, because if we don't sell him when we get an offer, we might not get another offer. It's not rocket science. Although having said that, we are talking about the club that agreed to sign a new transfer guru that can't start till the end of the transfer window. So we are talking about them. Nottingham Forest, they've just signed a defender. I think it's O'Brien, is it, from Huddersfield. 10 signings they've made. I'm just bringing it up here now. 17.5 million, 5 million, 12.8, 8.5 million, 17 million from Liverpool for Nico Williams. 1, 2, 3, 4 undisclosed, 1 on loan. That's Nottingham Forest, who have come up from the Championship via the playoffs. So the report, and of course, we don't know that all these reports are true. 23-year-old joined from French side Lille. According to the French outlet Foot Mercato, Monaco have made an offer of £11.7 million, but we want 17 million. Are we going to get that? Why not say, look, come on, 13 million. Let's go and buy Lookman. He was more use than Soumare was. Hamza is on 60 grand a week. He ain't getting that anywhere else. You see, again, with Hamza, what's happening? You know, he was praised to the hilt. Brendan Rodgers was blowing smoke out of his arse after the Liverpool game when we won. Oh, he's playing, he can play centre-back and what have you. And I'm thinking, great, let's move on. He could be that next player to break through. Not seen him since until the pre-seasons. I am starting to doubt Brendan. I'm going to be honest with you. I've always said I wanted him to stay. But I don't know. I don't know where we stand. I can't work it out. Facebook user here. I'm not going to put it up because it's a very long post you've said. Can't call your name out because you've not put it on it. Let me just read it here. It has been very clear since COVID started to sit our owners hard with their business. With the massive wage bill and not getting European football, it was obvious that we were going to have to offload before buying anyone. Leicester fans are going to have to accept that we are going to have to manage with what we have got, bearing in mind that many of them were told they were not good enough and how may now not be part of our new season. Whatever the situation, we must carry on to support our club. Calvin Bassey, that was it. Calvin Bassey. We let him go for zilch. Glasgow Rangers just sold him for just short of 23 million to Ajax. And I know that's the risk. That's the risk when you do let players go. So I'm not having to go at the club for that. Facebook user, whoever you are, very good point. And I don't think any of us here, and I'm certainly not saying don't support the club, and I will carry on supporting the club. But it doesn't mean that I can't criticise the club. You know, criticising the club does not mean that you hate the club, does not mean that you don't support the club. I've put loads of my own money in doing this, setting all this system up, getting all the background and everything. Shirts, every 3 shirts a season. That's what, 70 for 21, 200 quid near enough on shirts every bloody season. So yeah, I support them, but I also have a right to criticise them, as I think I do. Terry says, in fairness, if a player was bought from Stockport Steels today, then the eyebrows would be raised. It would, but we didn't buy him from Stockport Steels. We bought him from Fleetwood Town, who had just got promoted to the 4th tier. So yeah, it wasn't this huge. Everybody says, it was in non-league, but he'd actually just got promoted with the team to League 2. Anyway, let's have a look at the next person, Yannick Vestergaard. News today is that Leicester City reject transfer approach from Premier League rivals for defender. Brentford have come in and want to buy him. Now, Thomas Frank, their manager, is Danish. Vestergaard is Danish. We paid 15 million for him. We all know, and it's not all been his fault again, because let's face it, he has come into a situation where the defence was totally messed up because we had so many injuries. And you've got to say to yourself, question why we had so many injuries that weren't caused on field. We sacked Dave Rennie after however many years. We won the damn title without getting any injuries. What is Brendan doing to them? Going around and kicking them on the thigh when they're not looking? I don't know. But here we go. Let's have a look. So, a Danish manager comes in for a Danish player, knows him, wants him. A player we paid £50 million for that is probably worth about 3. Yes, he had a hard time last season. I'm not going to dispute that. Like I just said, he's coming to a team where there's so many injuries that every week he had to be introduced to a new player that he was playing in the defence with. One week he was playing in a 3 in the back. Next week it was 4. The week after it was a 5, because we didn't know what players would be fit week in to week out. So he came into a very, very unsettled defensive team. He got a goalkeeper behind him that wouldn't come out and get the ball. Who couldn't command his area, so he was always on a hiding to nothing. But we always said there must be a player in there, a good player waiting to get out. I think you'd be easier to answer some questions on Mastermind than try and find it, because I don't think I'd like to think there was one in there, but again, nothing I've seen. He's 6'7". When he jumps, he's 5'2". He's useless in so many ways. But the 29-year-old joined City last summer after the club were in an injury crisis. And at the time, I thought, yeah, okay, let us, we've gone out. We've not wasted our time. Just before the season starts, the Bastards of Spain decided to injure him with a dirty foul that he should have been sent off for. I do hope that he does get ill sometime. But we bought him for a reputed £15 million because of Fofana's injury. Very quickly, a week, we didn't hang about. Now, according to Danish outlet BT, I don't think that's a telephone company, Danish outlet BT, City have turned down an approach from Brentford for the defender, with the Danish manager Thomas Frank showing a keen interest in several of his countrymen in the transfer market. So we've turned them down, said, we want more money. 15 million for 10 appearances in the Premier League last season, 4 of which were from the bench. So he started 6 games, 4 from the bench in the Premier League, 15 million well spent. Not. So, speaking about his future last month, Vestergaard said matches are extremely important. After all, it's more competitive to play matches where it really matters than it is training. Well, you weren't doing that. You weren't doing that, Yannick, because like I just said, 6 starts, an extra 4 from the subs bench. You weren't playing the games. If we had been offered a quid, I would have taken it. Well, I mean, okay, that's been a bit silly. I'm not going to deny that. 1 second. But if we'd have been offered 5 million, 6 million, take it. Yes, okay, so we're losing a potential 10 million. We wrote off £30 million on Islam Slimani. Slimani. I thought I'd got out of that. Now he'd left the club. Slimani. Paid 30 million for him, let him go on a free. So if we can afford to lose 30 million like that, surely 10 million, get him off the wage bill as well. Get somebody in that is better. Get somebody in who knows how to jump, who knows how to defend. He was a mistake. We bought him in a panic. To be honest with you, Andrew, Vestergaard will only play if Fofana or Evans are injured. God, I hope not. Let's be honest with you, I shouldn't have a Marty in there. And I've never been a Marty fan until this season, and he was my most improved player. He came on, he never let us down whenever he played. He's worked himself into the team. It's a shame that, we haven't got the space to fit him in, because right back's not really his. It's got to be a centre-back role or in a 3. So, no, I think it will be a Marty. He's been linked with moving away. I hope not. We cannot sell a Marty and keep Vestergaard, because if that's down, this club is fucked. If that's the way we are going down, this club is 110% fucked. Vestergaard isn't a Premier League and full international player for no reason. Say no more. Terence, you get my point now, Chris. We always have bought more obscure players for nothing. Expectations now for costly players who are not worth the money. Sure, prime candidates for that one. Oh, yeah. I do. But, we're not going to get it right every time. And I accept that. You know, we can't always get a Jamie Vardy. We can't always get a Riyad Mahrez or a Harry Maguire. And I always say great respect, because I never knew this, but great respect to Harry Maguire, knowing that Man United wanted him the season before, not wanting to drop Leicester City in it, and he signed a new contract so that we could ask and demand that high transfer fee for him. So I've got total respect now for Harry Maguire. And he was a good player when he was with us. James said, I've never been impressed with Vestergaard, to be honest, both at Leicester and Southampton. I'm surprised you actually ever saw him at Leicester, to be honest with you. If you saw him, well done, because I don't think I saw him much. Well, in fact, yeah, I did. I saw him too much. So, yeah, what we're messing about at, if we've got an offer, whatever it is for Vestergaard, take it and run quickly and bank that check before the club change, before Brentford change their mind. You know, he is as much use as the fart in the spacesuit. I'm sorry, but he is. And then finally, I mean, we have been linked with everybody and the grandmother. Yeah, let's be honest with you. You know, if my granddad was still alive, well, no, the fact that he's not still alive, we'd probably still be linked with him. But do we really want this player back? Not that one. That was me. This one. Do we really want this player back? We've been linked with him. Well, according to the Leicester Mercury, we've been linked with him. According to Sky, it's Nottingham Forest or West Ham. And he has got offers abroad as well. Why would he come to Leicester? Would we want him? Where would he fit in? Certainly only, you know, if Tielemans stays, there's nowhere for him. Southampton's defence improved when Vestergaard left. I think they still let 9 in against Man United, didn't they? Terence, Vestergaard, Bertram, Soumare, the jury's still out on Daka. No, I can't. I've got to argue with you on Daka. When you buy, as I say, I've moved. I was born in Leicester. I'm now down in Bournemouth, and I went via Blackpool, Blackburn, and Burnley. I'm moving from Leicester to Blackpool, and I was working for Smiths at the time, so it was a big organisation, like a football club. You immediately had so many friends during the day, but at night, you know, Leicester to Blackpool, all my mates. I'd you know, family in Leicester, mates in Leicester, and that was hard. So to come from another country into a new job, which it is, because we, you know, there's a different style of play, England to Austria. You know, we know what he can do. Look at Moscow game, 4 goals. We know he can do it. So no, all he needs is a little bit more time to bed down. So I don't think the jury, for me, the jury's not out on Daka. And you know, if I get it wrong, I'll get it wrong. But to me, he just needs the time. Not a jury out on him, to be honest with you. But I mean, look at Musa. Musa. What is it? As I say, sometimes with fans, Ahmed Musa. We bought him, and it was 12 million at the time from Moscow. One of his first games, we played Barcelona in that Intercontinental Cup debacle, and he scored 2 goals. We lost the game 3-2, but he scored 2 goals. And we got rid of him because we never played him because of Jamie Vardy. We never played him, put him out on the wing, which is it's like Gary Lineker. When Gary Lineker and Johan Cruyff took over at Barcelona, he used to play Gary Lineker out on the wing, and Gary Lineker would say he's not a winger. And it was the same with Musa. And then we bought some French guy, Diabate, who scored 2 against Peterborough, and apparently the fans were licking his arse. They thought he was that good. But Musa, who scored 2 against Barcelona, but hey, it's opinions. It's opinions. Daka will be our top scorer. He may well be. He may well be. Seems to me the club are hoping and putting their faith in Daka, Soumare, and Vestergaard to come good. I don't think they are. I just think Soumare and Vestergaard would go, but they risk missing out on selling them by holding out for a higher offer. Trophy at stake tonight. Is there? Rye? What, against Hull? Brilliant. I'm still not watching it. I'm still watching England. There's no player that I haven't seen. Pratt has stood out. The problem is, I mean, it's opinions. I didn't think Tielemans stood out against OHL, but somebody else said they thought he played well. They're playing 45 minutes. What can you tell about a player in 45 minutes? Sweet FA. You can't. But Ericsson used to do that with the England team when he was manager. Australia, as we played a completely different 11 in the second half to the first half, what do you learn from seeing a player play for 45 minutes? Absolutely nothing. Forest, West Ham, he's been linked with us. He's been linked abroad. Who knows, Rye? Who knows where he's going? There we go. Let's see where he's going. So it's a joke. I'm sorry. Everybody's looking at Leicester and thinking there was this club that was really well run at one point. And yes, I know we don't want to follow the Leeds example of, mortgaging the crown jewels and then having to, to sell them. Possibly, Spencer, possibly. I'm just annoyed, Vestergaard. Whatever, we should have accepted that and got him out the door. Then that's one less player off the squad. We paid 15, we've only been offered 10. He's not worth fucking 10. Sell him for whatever you can get. Like I say, run to the hills, bank that check before they get a chance, Brentford, to put a stop on it. Anyway, that's the news today. The news today that I am not happy. Did you notice? I'm not a lot happy. I'm not totally not happy with this at all, because we've had two opportunities there, and the problem is as well, and this is the major problem, that potential targets are going to other clubs. We didn't go for Tarkowski, so we were linked with Nathan Collins. Couldn't go for him. He went to Wolves. Ben Mee, what's happening with him? Linked with him. All these players, Dwight McNeil, we were linked with a couple of seasons ago. He's now been approached by, I'm not sure who it is, but they have been approached by somebody. Like I say, it certainly is, Andrew. Probably more than likely that. I'm not blaming Brendan, because like you say, he can't go shopping at Harrods if he's only got a voucher for Aldi. But if he's not careful, that voucher is going to go out of date. I'm using all my metaphors up in one show here. Guys, thank you very much for letting me rant. Some agree with me, some don't. It's just this is a big season for us. We've got to get everything right. And if we don't get it right, we could lose it. Facebook user, thanks, Chris. Good show. Thank you very much. Terence says, who's doing the watch long tonight? Chris. Lou's doing it with me tonight. So thank you to everybody who has joined in. Like I say, I'm not necessarily right. I'm more than likely wrong, and I usually am. But it's my views, and what I put up on the screen are your views. Some agreeing, some not agreeing. That is what this show is all about. And it gives us a platform. Doesn't make you any less a supporter because you dare to criticise the team. But no doubt I'll get smashed for this. But there we go. 210 quid on shirts last season. Nearly a season ticket holder. But James, thank you very much. I'll see you later. Yeah, do get back to us. It is 7:30 tonight, because it's England. 7:30. Myself and Lou will be doing the watch along for England versus Austria. The first quarter. No, it's not. It's England versus Spain. The first quarter final. I need to go and take a chill pill and relax before I start that program. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for joining us and adding your points of view. It's what makes it worthwhile. If you've been watching on YouTube, Thank you so much. If you haven't been watching on YouTube, get over to YouTube and please give us a subscribe. It does make all the difference. It really does help the channel. And even if you like us, please smash the algorithm. Please smash the like button, because it does help the algorithms. And do what it says there and subscribe. And if you have been listening, thank you for lending me your ears. I probably got the wax out of them today. I will see you in about 55 minutes. Take care. I will see you for England versus Austria. Come on, the Lionesses. See you later.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Cool. I'm out of here. Ooh, that's a wrap.